having done the news, we're going to dive into our podcast of decision.
Produce the bowl of Rassilon.
So our first segment is once again our traditional opening segment for the podcast of decision. Once again, we're going to do several rounds of drawing 4 items at a time from our bowl of Rassilon, and we have to get rid of 3 and keep 1. And once again, we each have a joker card we can play to keep something if we really can't bear to lose it. Mark, would you
I'm starting to get anxious again.
Mark, would you like to draw 4 items for round 1?
Absolutely.
Give it a swish.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Swish, 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 swish. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm closing my eyes. This is great radio.
4.
All right, 4. So I've got Kev McCulloch. Goodbye.
Kev the Hammer McCulloch.
Ambassadors of Death. Oh, here we go. More than 30 years in the TARDIS, Doco. Ooh. Kate Stewart. Oh, this is easy. No, not really, no. Okay. Right, well, first of all, Kate Stewart. Definitely goes bye-bye for me.
Why is that?
Not a fan.
Not a fan?
Not a fan. It's just there, just there. You know what I mean? There's no...
I've never really felt like she lived up to the potential.
Yeah, there's just... I don't know. It's just bland. She's really bland. And maybe she's wearing a moustache like her dad. It might be more interesting. I don't know. No, I just find the characterisation really bland.
Much the same.
And,
look,
yeah.
compared to a couple of the other choices there, I think I couldn't mount an argument for keeping her. So.
No, sorry, Kate. You're well into the shredder. Kev McCulloch. Well, it has been known that I'm not the biggest fan of Kev and his music. I think, as I mentioned before, Richard, which you reminded me was the Hammer, I call him. Look, he has done some nice pieces of music. Very, very small, though, particularly in remembrance of the Daleks. But everything else is very much orchestral stabs. It's dated. It hasn't dated very well at all.
It's really interesting when you watch Remembrance. There are moments there, as you say, of like really good compositions there, and then moments of just the drum machine. It's really
bad. And Battlefield's is like, dun, and Silver Nemesis in particular, dun, 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 dun. It's just really, So, sorry, Kev, I know you're in Queensland at the moment, and I really hope that immigration works.
Sorry, Mark. For a moment there, I was having a flashback to Hitchhikers where they're talking about when Fort meets Hop Lecter's Yardo. He's like, what's that song? The dun, dun.
Yes, that's my impression of it. So, sorry, Kev. I know you're in Queensland at the moment, and I hope those papers for permanent residency have come through. But yes, goodbye, Kev and his music.
Now, I'm going to say on More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS, the documentary from 1993.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we first saw that, particularly the extended version on the VHS, that was a huge deal, and it really felt like a big celebration at the time.
Yeah.
It is very of its time, though.
Yes.
And a few years ago, I went back and watched it on DVD.
Yeah.
And it's nice, but it feels very dated now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was probably the note I had. I reckon I remember watching it at the time, and I watched it a few times at the time, but I would be struggling to come up with the time. I reckon I watched it probably in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
At least.
And look, seeing a lot of those people being interviewed was a bit of a novelty at the time, whereas now we've seen them all on making of docos, they've all done commentaries, we've seen things in a lot more detail. Again, the reconstructions of stuff like the set of Evil of the Daleks was really good, the Samtara menacing Liz Slane was really nice. Like, it's nice. I can see an argument for keeping it, but it is of its time.
It is, and to be honest with you, Ambassadors of Death have only just got in colour the last couple of years. There's no way we're putting that back in the bin. Because frankly, it's colour, it's Pertwee. If we lose that, then we're going to have a missing Pertwee. And frankly, it's...
And look, if you believe the director, it's the first instance of the whee!
Oh, yeah, and it's actually pretty good. And
credits.
it's actually a really good story.
It's a fantastic story. I've got
is.
a lot of time for the Ambassadors of Death. I actually do agree this actually was an easy one.
Yeah. So,
Ambassadors of Death.
Ambassadors of Death it is.
All right.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Dave.
Into the furnace.
That was... I feel a bit better after that now.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right.
Bowl of Rassilon.
Bowl of Rassilon.
1, 2,
For the viewers at home, Richard has his eyes closed and is reaching into the
3,
bowl.
4. All right. What do we got? Okay, round 2.
Yep.
We have Innes Lloyd.
Ooh.
Let's Kill Hitler. Well, that's an early candidate for
For keeping?
Barry Letts.
Oh, that's cruel.
No.
Hey, mate, he did this.
Oh, no. What's this one going to be? Tom Baker or something, probably. Captain Jack.
Are we allowed to mention him anymore?
Well,
Well, it's the character, not the actor.
Oh, yes,
well,
okay,
that's
right.
true. Well, I'll start by saying Let's Kill Hitler was the episode that season that sort of broke me and was, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah, me
so I'm simply going to say, look, that's straight into the furnace as far as I'm concerned.
Going
I
to defend
agree.
it, Mark?
Mark,
No,
you want to play
no,
the
it's
Joker
a-
to keep that?
So,
No.
Well, so what was it about it that broke you? Because look, I've spoken about it many times on the podcast, but Richard, what was it for you?
I've probably been on a downward spiral, I think, with Doctor Who.
Since 2006.
Probably for a fair bit of that season. It was just the whole setup. It's, you've got a time machine, I've got a gun, let's kill Hitler. That probably was like, oh dear. Then there was the whole bit where they locked Hitler in the cupboard, and then they're running around on the motorbikes, and then the Doctor gets poisoned, and then he decides to, he dances or whatever. And it was I just remember watching it. I don't know if I even finished it, to be honest. I just went through all that, and I just thought, this is just not anything I'm interested in watching. To be honest, I don't care about what's happening in this story, I'm turning that off.
Yeah, it was a waste of Earth's resources putting it together, to be honest. And as my Rob always said, you've got, Hitler, and you're locking him in a cupboard. Really, not that you could go too much with it in terms of story for a children's drama. But I just thought it was just awful. It's just nothing. It was just nothing.
Yeah,
and it's just rubbish. I just didn't like it.
It was.
All right, well, I think we're knocking out Let's Kill Hitler.
That's gone.
All
Yeah,
right.
goodbye.
My next one probably to talk about would be Captain Jack. Mm-hmm. Now, I would say, and look, we are talking about Captain Jack the character,
Yes.
not the actor who portrays Captain Jack.
Yep, so we'll separate
Yes.
it off.
Look, when I first saw Captain Jack, I actually thought, look, okay, this is an okay character. He had a role and that sort of stuff. I do think it is probably a case of diminishing returns as he goes through. Having said that, he was very good in that fourth Torchwood one, The Children of Earth. I thought that probably was one of his better outings. To be honest, I don't have the same attachment to any of the new series companions or characters as I do to the classic series, so he would be on a disadvantage just to begin with.
And look, certainly I remember going back to 2005 when we saw him for the first time.
Yep.
I remember thinking this was a very different character. It was very innovative, it was clever, it was witty. Probably some of the most memorable lines and moments from that series come from Captain Jack. Now, it's helped by the fact he's in two really good stories.
Yes.
He's in that Empty Child and he's in Bad Wolf, which are both really, really good scripts. But he does get some of the best moments of them.
Yeah.
I initially was quite impressed that they had an openly gay character. Then I think that they kind of diminished that by making him omnisexual and doing the whole sort of, in the future everybody's really relaxed about it and it's human beings, male, female, alien, who cares? It's like, okay, well, you're kind of having your cake and eating it a bit well there. And sort of, yeah.
And then they made him the face of Bo.
As you say, look, I'm a big fan of Children of Earth. I think he does really, really well with that. He's an interesting character there. Look, I could make a case for keeping Captain Jack, except we've got Innes Lloyd and Barry Letts on the table.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not playing any Joker for Captain Jack whatsoever. Goodbye.
All right,
You're in the shredder.
so I think we're happy. So it brings us down to our last two, which is, Innes Lloyd and Barry Letts. Now, I would probably have to say my initial inclination would be Barry Letts. Would that be yours?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So who wants to mount the defence for Innes Lloyd then?
I would say that Innes Lloyd played a very big role in establishing the show for its long-term survival.
Yeah.
I think that he's
That's
the one
fair.
that really made the regeneration work and particularly got Patrick Troughton launched well. I think that concept of Doctor Who is a show where you have the Doctor, a female companion, and monsters is something that he really set up and really got going.
It's a template, isn't it, really? He set that up.
He set up a template. Look, I love the Heart and Lyra because it's so different, because it's so innovative, but can you do that again and again and again? It's very hard. He really turned Doctor Who into something that you can make again and again and again, and it's exciting, and it's fun, and it may not be quite as in-depth as the Heart and Lyra, but you can do it continuously.
Yeah.
And there are some really good stories in there.
Yeah.
But
they're very samey.
Did Barry Letts do the same thing to an even bigger degree.
I mean, I know Derek Sherman gets a lot of the credit in terms of setting it up for the colour and that era.
But Barry Letts, the Doctor Who probably we know and love,
is more than him.
Is probably more the Barry Letts
template
or version of Doctor Who. Perhaps it's hard because without Innes Lloyd, there probably would be no Barry Letts.
That's right. But Barry Letts creates Joe Grant.
Yes,
he creates Unit. He does the Pertwee Doctor. He's the one that is able to take the BBC's growing budget from all the colour licenses and go, well, hang on, if your budget's increasing by 50% every year, so should mine.
Yep.
And
ratings.
Suddenly you've got a really expensive show.
Ratings, profile of the program. Certainly, I mean, it helps also that the lead actor of Barry Letts' time was more into the promotion of the show, where Patrick Troughton was very reserved.
No.
Mainly because of his situation. But yes, look, I think with Letts, the success of the show, and then of course he cast Tom Baker. Arguably,
and Liz Sladen.
And Liz Sladen too.
Yeah.
So arguably the biggest assets of the show going forward in the 70s. So
he directed some very good stories.
He did, exactly, and he wrote the Demons, which is pretty good. Time Monster, not so good, but there's also his ecological bent in those scripts, and also that philosophical bent as well. So you had the Mutants about racism, which hasn't been really tackled before. Green Death, ecology, where
the Buddhist themes.
theme. So where Innes Lloyd is very template, Monster of the Week. At least with the Barry Letts era, it mixed it up a bit. Not always successfully, but at least they had a go.
I could see Innes Lloyd winning this if this was some other round.
Yeah.
But I can't put him above Barry Letts.
If Richard grabbed out Chris Chibnall, for example, it would have been a much easier conversation. But Richard, of course, went for the juggler. So
I did.
Yeah, well done, son.
So
are we knocking out Innes Lloyd?
Yes.
All right. So does anyone want to play a Joker to keep Innes Lloyd?
It's only round 2.
It is only round 2.
I'm keeping,
so we
I'm
might
keeping
need
Barry.
the Joker. Yes, get the Joker up our sleeve for a bit
like
later.
I may regret this. This may be the one that we move through. But,
and Barry wrote the Demons book too. That's really good.
It is.
Yes, he did.
But then he wrote the Ghosts of End Space, which isn't really good.
We won't talk about that.
And
Canon Lanon.
all right. So
We'll keep Barry.
well, if we keep Barry Letts and Innes, round 3, fight. Hey. All right. What have we got?
This round we have got Season 4.
Oh.
The Edge of Destruction.
Season 4's already been shredded, mate, so it's okay.
Benton.
Benton.
And all Douglas Adams stories.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, okay.
Well, let's start by identifying the Douglas Adams stories.
City of Death.
City of Death.
Pirate Planet.
Classic. Pirate Planet, really good.
Classic. Shada!
The 47 versions we now have. This lost story that now exists in more formats than any other.
Yes,
right.
for a lost story, yeah. I mean, City of Death is a much...
How do you throw out the City of Death?
You can't. I mean, it's much better than Edge of Destruction.
Destruction,
you know,
well,
I mean, Edge of Destruction's Edge of Destruction, isn't it? Really, it's
like
two
Edge
episodes.
of Destruction has to exist.
Yes.
The way they set up Doctor Who needed the Edge of Destruction as that third story to actually make everybody get on well enough you could now have adventures and actually turn them in. It's got that fantastic confrontation between Barbara and the Doctor. I mean, that is one of the best written companion Doctor interactions of all time. It's also got Hartnell's slightly bizarrely directed monologue.
Oh, yes.
In episode 2. Yeah. Which is like, it's an interesting performance, but it's very weird.
It's even weirder in Spanish.
You've got William Russell's stunned acting, which is just weird. Look. Again, I'm happy to talk up the Edge of Destruction, but is it City of Death?
No, it's not.
No, it's Scissors of Death, but maybe not City of Death. So,
well done.
Yeah, thank you. So, goodbye, Edge of Destruction, being shredded
so
again.
Now, as Mark said, Season 4 has largely already been wiped out, so...
But
we've got the 10th planet
We've got the 10th planet in there. We've got a couple of episodes of the Moon Base, which, according to Ian, is all complete now.
Yes.
And the Moon Base is a very good story.
It is a good story. You've got Evil Little Daleks in there. Faceless Ones is in there. And it's obviously Patrick Troughton's first season.
Menace.
You've got Underwater Menace in there.
Highlanders is a good story.
Highlanders is good.
Macra-Terror's underrated.
I don't like it, but that's okay. We all move on. But to get rid of City of Death, which is basically glorious...
We're ignoring fan favourite Mr. Benton.
There's a reason for that.
We're talking about Sergeant Benton, not
John
Levine.
Okay.
Is Benton one of those characters you love when you're about 6, and as an adult you just don't quite love it as much?
In The Invasion, he was great.
Yep.
But then you keep thinking about the time Monster is wearing a nappy at the end. You go, I don't know, it's just...
He's one of those sort of reliable staples. I mean, he does go through 3 eras of the show.
He does.
He goes from Corporal all the way to RSM.
Yeah.
When he's good, he's good. He does poison that guy in Ambassadors of Death because he's the only one who could be delivering the isotope.
Yeah. And he does make a very good Prime Lord. So
he's very good as is it section leader Benton?
Yes,
Yes, he is.
good as
He
that.
is actually.
But maybe we did more section leader and not Cuddly
Platoon
Benton.
underleader, I should say.
Yeah, platoon underleader. But to be honest, though, can I ask a really appalling question? If he wasn't in those stories, would he be missed?
If it was just random soldier of the week.
If it was Paul Darrow every week, we wouldn't be complaining, would we?
If it had
But I'm just saying,
Captain Hawkins
No,
here.
it's a good point you make because those stories aren't elevated by the fact that it's a regular character all the way through.
Yes.
But is he just playing the role of generic sergeant that the brigadier needs to tell to go and
make a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I personally wouldn't miss him if he was gone.
Would you have said the same thing when you were 10?
Oh no, I loved him when I was 10.
Yeah,
But now I just go, oh, here we go again. Yeah. But I mean, he has got some moments of brilliance, but are they enough to save him from the shredding
but that's
machine?
the thing. Are those stories better because it's Benton?
No.
Or are those stories...
Look, apart from the great tackle he did in the Demons, at the end. No, I'll be quite happy to, get the...
or his expert marksmanship when he's shooting the
Harrison Trace Shedder.
Yeah,
Pull the lever.
The weather vane, yeah.
Yeah, put the lever. I'm happy for him to go. You guys, what do you think?
Yeah, look,
yeah.
compared to the other things in the bracket,
Yes.
These are hard.
I do love season 4. There's some really good stories. There's Power and Evil.
Yes, and that's the thing. You got to think about how many stories there. So it's 4, and there's a funny one.
I suppose you probably should add a qualifier on that. Is it season 4 as it stands now, or is it season...
Well, those that are on audio, the audio ceased to go, I guess.
Yeah. I think in terms of completeness, we haven't got much Patrick Troughton left anyway.
True.
To send them back to the shredder, the Pamela Nash Memorial Furnace, I think would be a travesty. So I think, unfortunately, Douglas Adams' stories, as it pains me to say, City of Death has to go. We can't have a Taliesin reconstruction.
Can I hear a Joker walking towards this conversation pretty fast?
Yes, Richard's going to use his Joker.
I'm usually the one who saves mine, but you can use yours, Mark.
Do you know what? It's just gone Christmas, so feeling slightly generous. I'm going to save Douglas Adams.
All right.
I wish I did, but you know what I mean. I'll save the story, yes. Yeah.
So we'll put through season 4 and you're going to play your Joker and save all the Douglas Adams stories?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Even the 87 versions of Sharda.
Pirate Planet's really good too.
It is good, actually, yes.
I like Pirate Planet.
Yeah, but City of Death, though, it's that show you could show the not we.
Yes.
And they'd love it.
It is a very good script.
Yeah, it is very, very good, and 16 million Brits can't be wrong.
Plus, you did add some of the best bits of some of those other season 17 stories.
Yes.
All right, look, I think that's a Joker well played. So, Mark, you've used your Joker.
Thank you.
And we have saved season 4 and all Douglas Adams stories.
All right, Mark, we're back around. Here we go.
This is very stressful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Va bene! Okay, here we go. Oh, Jesus, Dave. Murray Gold! Goodbye! Or Mantovani Gold, as I call him. The Fifth Doctor.
Well,
come on, Dave.
That's
Can I use my Joker
for Mark.
twice? I want to take back the Joker.
That's just made for Mark.
Oh, Curse of Fenric.
Oh.
You put these together.
Go on, and?
We drew them out.
I know. The last story of every Doctor.
Oh, my God.
Well...
10th Planet, Legopolis...
Well, 10th Planet,
End of Time,
War Games, Spiders,
Twice Upon a Time,
and
Caves.
Rosani.
Okay, let's just start with the easy ones first, shall we?
The ultimate foe.
Yeah, the time of the Doctor.
Awful. The telly movie.
Can we sort of split it to say that ticket there, every last story of every Doctor, classic and
Well, look, let's start with the easy one. I think there are other rounds where, look, I could maybe make the case for Murray Gold. I know a lot of people love him. I'm not a fan. You're not a fan. You're not a fan.
I'm certainly not a fan of Nancy Varney Gold, so goodbye.
Look, let's just not pretend. We'll
Yeah.
move on.
Anybody who does castrati music, my Facebook feed for some reason showed that last clip of the end of time when he's oh my god, it's awful, so saccharine, awful. I don't want to go. Awful. Anyway, okay. The next one is either the Fifth Doctor, Curse of Fenric, and again this awful last
Story of every Doctor.
Okay.
Well, all right. So, where do you want to go?
All
Do you
right,
want to talk about Curse of Fenric?
Curse of Fenric. One of the highlights of the Seventh Doctor era.
One of the highlights of 1980s Doctor Who.
Correct.
Yes.
However, if you then delete the Fifth Doctor completely, we're not going to have his run. And there are some good stories in there, which also would negate that ticket there in terms of last story of every Doctor. So
I think the problem here is that Curse of Fenric is one story versus a Doctor and 13
multiple
14
stories.
Yes.
So as much as I love it, and it is a very good story. I mean, remember when we all first saw that? And we just all thought as fans, Doctor Who is back.
It's back, yeah.
Yeah, well, because we all would have watched it sitting at the club that afternoon when they showed it at the Christmas party.
Yes.
And we also did that season 26 day, I think, didn't we? We did a massive season 26 day the year after it, Alexander.
No, I was going to say, the first time I saw it was at the club Christmas, at the DWCV Christmas party.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mark, for getting us the tapes.
And when I watched that story, I do remember the scene where all the hemovores are walking out the ocean. I'm going, you're right, Dave. Doctor Who is back, and it's absolutely chilling. You know what I mean? And it's just a shame it just was shot on videotape because it looks so 80s.
Videotape, yeah.
It does, you know what I mean? Like, it would have been great on film, but it's a great story. But as you said, Dave, we're wiping out one Doctor out of existence as opposed to 4 episodes of very, 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 very good Doctor Who. Anybody want to play the Joker on the Curse of Fenric or save the Fifth Doctor?
Compared to the other two in the choices, look, again, there would be rounds, I think, if we pulled some of these other selections out where I think Curse of Fenric might have gone through, but compared to the other two choices, I couldn't put it above the other two choices.
Yep. Okay, so unfortunately, Curse of Fenric is going in the shredder. I'm assuming it's a TV version and not the extended cut, so I'm assuming we can keep that. We have the Fifth Doctor and the last story of every Doctor.
I'm going for the last story of every Doctor because there are some absolute belters in there. 10th Planet, great. War Games, classic. Planet of the Spiders, look, it's not a great story, but as a thematic end to the Doctor's era, it's a wonderful summation.
Yep.
I like Logopolis. Caves is a classic. Ultimate Foe, oh well. Survival, my favourite story of the 1980s. And then, well, I guess we're saving the telly movie.
Well, it's saying a telly movie.
The telly movie, then...
it's his first and last.
What was that one with Eccleston? What was it called?
Oh, well, Bad Wolf, Parting of the Ways.
Parting of the Ways is
fantastic.
Very good. And then they unfortunately got progressively worse.
Well, until Capaldi. Oh, no, because Twice Upon a Time
was yes, if it finished on a Doctor's Fall like it should have, it would have been the greatest exit since Davison.
I genuinely forgot about Twice Upon a Time.
There's good reasons for that.
So did most of us, I think.
Yeah, it's awful.
The Power of the Doctor?
Read it, listen to her last day.
There are enough stories in that batch. I would put it above the Fifth Doctor, who, look, I don't dislike the Fifth Doctor, but he's not one of my favourites either.
However, Dave, if you get rid of the Fifth Doctor, you have to remember, right? The Fifth Doctor came at a time where the show was fading away from the public consciousness. Yep. Tom Baker had been there for 178 years. People were getting fed up of it. The Fifth Doctor comes along, youthful, vibrant, a complete contrast. The ratings go up. You had classics like Earthshock. And Earthshock. No. There's some great stories in the era. And the Fifth Doctor... He got a whole new generation of kids involved in the show, including me and Mr. Irwin's on the. He'd be shouting down the bloody microphone now, saying,
I'm probably a fraction older and see.
Yes, Grandad.
When I was young, and Tom Baker
you should have saved season 4 then, shouldn't you?
See, I suppose as a kid, Tom was the Doctor I grew up with, and the Fifth Doctor did grow on me, but I remember when he first came along, I knew he was just the guy from All Creatures Great and Small, pretending to be the Doctor. And I didn't really like any of the companions he was with initially.
Forget the companions. Think about the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, as I said, he did grow on me, and I think had his entire era been like season 21,
Yes.
I think, yes.
Had his character been like it is in the back end of season
And
4.
especially Frontios
yes.
and Caves where you've got...
Playing with fire.
Yes, I think had his era and character been like that, I would mount a much stronger argument. But I have to say, the first year or so probably of his run, I did not drift away from Doctor Who, but I probably wasn't as obsessed with Doctor Who.
Can I challenge something, Dave, you
previously.
said before? The 10th Planet, a really good story? Do you think, is it really a good story? I mean, if it had no regeneration there, it'd be just basically another base on the Siege story.
I think it's a very good base on the Siege story.
Well, it's the original
Would you
Buzz
rather-
Siege story, but
Oh,
And again, look, to your part,
Space Museum?
to your point, Mark, if we were talking about Peter Davison, that would be one thing, because I really appreciate what Peter Davison does. He's always putting it in the effort. He does some really good performances, even in stories he clearly thinks are ridiculous. He's doing his best.
trying. Yes, he is.
But it isn't Peter Davison, it's the Fifth Doctor. And I can't put him, for all the arguments you're making, I can't put him above the War Games and Caves Androzani and Survival and Bad Wolf.
What about the other? See, because I mean, we talk about consistency here, right? The Fifth Doctor, he was in a lot of poo. Let's be honest with you, but his performance was consistently good. However, every last story of every Doctor, I mean, the stories you're rattling off, we're all very focused on the classic ones because that's the ones we like the most.
Yes.
Down the other end, where you've got such turds as Power of the Doctor, Last of Time Lords. I could keep going, you know what I mean? So, yes. Can I buy somebody's Joker off them?
Look, we've had the court, we've had the chat. I'm voting for the last story of every Doctor. Mark?
You're obviously voting.
I'm going for the Fifth Doctor. Richard, I'm looking at you.
I know.
Pleading.
This is please play your joke. I'll come wash your car every week.
I have now. Richard, you've got to go what you believe, but just remember our friendship will be over.
You've got to vote your conscience.
Yeah. No, you do what's right for you, Richard.
It's just a bit where I do the turlo, just take it. That's the table.
Enlightenment was the choice. Yeah.
Has he got a light bulb?
I think there's probably only 3 rounds left. So I'm really torn. So look, to keep things moving,
keep our friendship intact.
so one of you, either of you doesn't hate me. We'll put the Fifth Doctor through, and I'll play my Joker to save the last story.
Well done,
of every Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
And I just hope there's nothing in this bowl
Thanks, Big fella.
that we're going to make us regret.
And we're cuddling on the couch for you at home.
As I said, I just hope there's nothing in the bowl that's going to make us regret that.
Excellent. All right, well, we'll keep going with one Joker left.
How much can I buy off you, Dave?
Can I buy a vowel? 2.
Yeah, that's actually very funny.
3. 4. Yeah, all right. So, what have we got this time?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no. This will be something like Horror of Fang Rock Image of the Fender. All right. All the Gallifrey stories.
Oh, okay. Okay. Again, inconsistent, yes.
Yeah, very.
Power of the Doctor, speak of the devil.
Oh, no. Well, we can't play.
The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. And Romana. Both Romanas, I'm guessing.
And not the big finishy ones.
Well, we've saved the Power of the Doctor, so that's
yeah.
true.
So that one's safe actually. So we're down to 3 choices. So we're down to all the Gallifrey stories, the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, and Romana.
So Gallifrey stories that we would want to save: Deadly Assassin,
Yep.
5 Doctors,
War Games.
War
Part
Games.
10. Part 10.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say 3 Doctors as well? Because that's set a bit on Gallifrey.
Well,
Yeah.
so does that include? Yeah, I was going to say that'd be 3 Doctors because there's
And
part
also,
of
was it Colony in Space at the beginning?
that.
Yeah, there's that
Yes,
stuff in the
there
room.
is a scene in the room. Yes, there is.
There's also the Arc of Infinity.
Let's not talk about that. IKEA. Just they turned Gallifrey into IKEA.
I guess that also includes Trial of a Time Lord. Although
That was on the space
That's
station.
on the space station.
That was on the space station. That was Gallifrey.
but part of it's in the Matrix.
Well, the Matrix isn't on Gallifrey.
That's dialed into that. It was like Team Viewer. That's
in
dialed in.
Deadly Assassin it is.
That's working from home.
Matrix from home.
Deadly Assassin it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, if you sort of rank those stories there, Deadly Assassin. dead set classic. Well, hold on, wasn't there a Peter Capaldi one where he's on Gallifrey?
Oh yeah, the one where he gets out, he punches
Yeah.
he keeps punching through the.
It's either Heaven Sent or Hell Bent.
Yeah, and there's that one.
The one where he's hell bent on getting through the crystal is Heaven Sent.
Yes.
And the one where he's sent from heaven to save Gallifrey is Hell Bent.
Hell bent.
Right.
So
That's
do
the
you
one
want
where
to
he
do that again?
he says Russell on bugger off and he.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, kicks. Yeah, they surround him and he kicks Russell
Yeah,
out.
so Heaven Sent.
It's mental. Yeah. And that's what. Oh, and also there was that Timeless Children rubbish because weren't they on Gallifrey for that? Because
I can't remember.
yeah, I think they were. Why did I remember that?
the finale where they go back and the Masters wiped out the Time Lords.
Yeah,
And we have the
again.
Cyber Lords,
Oh, it's got that. Yeah. So that's gone. No,
Look,
that's hard though because
the Deadly Assassin 5 Doctors, I think, are doing a lot of work on that one.
yeah, and I mean War Games still lasts a little bit, but I mean there's definitely it. But
one of the greatest 10th Doctor stories and one of the greatest RTD stories, and look, a favourite for me of the new series, The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. And I think we all waxed lyrical about that when we first saw it.
we did. I haven't watched it actually.
We did, but
for a while.
But would we save that over? We've also got Romana to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it was just a choice between the Gallifrey stories, The Impossible Planet, Satan Pit, but we've also still got the third little bit of paper there that says Romana on it.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
They're combined.
And the Big Finish ones.
No.
I don't know about this. I can't
Well, I think they're Romana 2, I think,
I
aren't
think it's
The Romana 2 plus didn't they
all
regenerate
Lala
her as well?
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Probably.
Well, when Lala Lord said she was sick of it.
probably played by Lexi Sale or something. Man.
Didn't you kill my doctor?
Look,
Romana.
a very good character from some good Doctor Who.
Yes.
Yes.
Works very well with the Doctor. Probably the shake-up that the companion formula needed
Yeah.
at that point.
Yep. Mary Tam is very good.
And it's funny thinking back, as Australian fans, we all used to wax lyrical about Lalla Ward because
Yes.
she was the one that had been repeated the most.
Yeah.
That's
she was the
right.
one we'd seen most recently.
Yeah.
And we didn't actually get the Key to Time repeated all that much until
No.
the 90s.
Yes.
Then suddenly we all saw the Key to Time again, and everyone's like, actually,
Mary Tam.
Mary Tam's really good
she's
as well.
very good, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm probably going to go. I'm going to go with Romana. So
But we get rid of the 5 Doctors, and she was in it for about 3 seconds.
the problem with the Gallifrey one is you've got 2 or 3 stories there
Yeah.
that are doing a lot of heavy lifting.
That's right.
Really.
Yeah.
So look, I'm willing to put the Gallifrey stories aside as much as I'll miss the Deadly Assassin and the 5 Doctors.
I'm going to telesnap reconstruct those now.
All right.
I have to have those images. Romana and the possible. Well,
It's another curse of Fenric for me. Like the Impossible Planet in other rounds would be very competitive, but you're right, Richard. I don't think I can vote against Romana.
no. The Key to Time will be very much listened.
You've still got a Joker, Dave.
He's not
many-
using his bloody
how
Joker,
many
is he?
still-
Very cagey about the
How many still
Joker.
in the bowl? Oh.
Yeah, he's got 20 other things to get through, so he's preserving it.
It's usually me hanging on the
Yeah,
Joker till the end.
I mean,
but,
look. I'd rather have Romana and the Key to Time than
Well,
say
likewise.
Mel or Adric. So
All right, look,
I'm happy to.
All right, I regret it, but I'll agree we'll go with Romana, and
Yep.
we will get rid of
so the
one
Impossible
of my favourite 10th Doctor stories.
Be brave,
into
Dave.
the Satan pit.
Into the
Yeah,
same pit.
yes. It's Dave,
All
you
right,
okay?
so we're putting through Romana. All right, Dave, back to you.
Oh, here we go.
So we've now got The Savages,
Yep.
Fugitive of the Jadoon,
Oh yeah,
Right.
Series 2 of New Who.
yeah.
We could get the Satan Pit back. Oh,
Oh my goodness, what's this one?
all Chris Boucher stories.
Well,
You're not getting it.
I can see either the Joker's going to come out or that's the one that's going through.
this,
So,
this could be a very undramatic round, I think.
well,
Yeah.
all right. So,
All right. Well, look, we'll talk about the Chris Boucher stories at the end. But
Yes.
is anybody going to make a case for any of the others? Let's work them through.
Well, Fugitive to the Jadoon, I think, is probably the easy one, is it?
Oh, just burn it now. No discussion.
Is there any?
No.
Did you not enjoy it?
No,
No? I thought it was one of the highlights of the Whittaker era.
it's not saying much, Dave.
Look. Look.
So why did you like it, Dave? Why did you like it?
I think that there was just a sense of mystery and adventure, and there were some genuine, like, oh wow moments in that I just hadn't seen coming. Some really good performances. I just thought it was an unexpectedly strong story in a season that I was not hating, but was very...
there.
It was very ambivalent about it until we got to that story.
See, it's interesting though. I did watch that episode. I think the problem with that story for me was that there's another Doctor being revealed. Where if they hadn't been done, say, in Day of the Doctor, which as we all know, had problems with that then. There's another one now who's all of a sudden appeared. So it's like, oh, they've done it again? You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah. They've played that card before.
They've played that card before, and I think, to me, it's just, again, like that diminishing returns thing.
Yeah, look. Yeah. Let's not pretend, though, that it's going to be all Chris Boucher.
Well, it's not. So
no.
I think, look, it had its moments. You're right. I
didn't like Joe Martin.
I also remember a lot of the fandom nonsense that blew up around it when it aired.
That's not like fandom at all.
No, not at all. What's that quote from The Simpsons? I was on the internet straight away talking about my... Yeah, look, it was an interesting episode, but look, I couldn't save it over anything else that's in that list.
Bye-bye.
The Savages, well, it doesn't exist anyway, so...
On audio.
Would it be well regarded if it was found, do you think?
No.
No,
Really.
I from the audio, I don't think so, unless there is something in the visual production that we're completely missing. I think it's a fairly bog standard story, and the only reason I think anyone remembers it is because it's basically Stephen's
last story.
Last story, I think.
I suspect if it was found, there would be a very robust blackface discussion to be had.
Yes.
Because, Freddie Jaeger is in blackface, I believe.
Mm.
Is the Savages now the Forgotten Hartnell?
It's probably
one of them.
The Smugglers,
one of them. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I can tell you what the Savages is about, but if you ask me to tell you the plot beats of the Savages, I couldn't do it. I know a couple of the big ones. Like I know the Doctor's put in the machine, and I know that Freddie Jaeger's character becomes the Doctor for a bit, and they smash the machines at the end.
Part 1 is set up. Part 2 is meeting the actual Savages. Part 3 is Stephen rousing the Savages, and Part 4 is Frederick Jaeger's personality changing at just the right moments to resolve the plot.
There you go.
Did you watch it on your 16mm printer? Though, did you? It sounds like you sound very well informed, Richard.
I would like to see the Savages, but
we haven't seen it since, so it's
No.
we're not missing much so far.
So we're left with Series 2 of New Who and all the Chris Boucher stories. I still don't think there's anything in Series 2 New Who that is going to top the 3 Chris Boucher stories.
Well, this is the thing. I could make a case that the Impossible Planet is in there, but it's Robots of Death.
Well,
and
that's
The Day God Went Mad, and Image of the Fendal.
Plus Series 2 is Series 2 Rose. So
it's smug, isn't it? It's smug, you know.
Look, I did find her better when Rob and I did the deep dive into Series 2 a year or so ago.
Okay.
But where she's annoying, she's very annoying.
Plus you're also saving stuff like Love and Monsters and
Age of Steel.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Doomsday and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Let's just.
I mean, School Union is great, but it's only because Liz Sladen's there. The rest of the story is actually quite pants.
Look, this was actually put together before Chris Boucher passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So that timing is coincidental. We've been waxing on, I think, all of our podcasts.
Yes.
About
I
Chris
think
Boucher.
So. Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think we've all said, look, most of fandom, certainly of our vintage, puts Robots of Death in the top 5, top 10.
Yep.
Spot on.
The Face of Evil is just a really clever script.
Yep.
Image of the Fendal, it's not his best script, but I watched that again for the podcast for season 15.
Yeah.
And watching it, it was just line after line after line of character, of witty dialogue, of proper laugh out loud moments.
I love Image of the Fendal.
I think it's fantastic.
I think it's really good. Yeah.
Look, I think we knew where this round was going to end as soon as that came out. Sorry, Series 2 of New Who. Sorry, Impossible Planet, for losing out again. But we're going to put through all the Chris Boucher stories.
Fantastic, yes. That's good.
We have 2 rounds to go. Mark, it's with you.
Thank you. Mysterious Planet.
Ooh.
The Mind Robber.
Oh.
I can hear the shredding machine. All John Peel novelisations. Dave, you wag. All Pretty Grimwade stories. Hold on. I know where this is going.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Mysterious Planet, Mind Robber, all John Peel novelisations, and all the Pretty Grimwade stories.
I could make an argument for all 4 of those. So
Okay.
I'll start by saying there's none there that I think us just smashing the others out of the competition, like the last round. There's none there that I would just automatically dismiss either.
If I was getting one probably straight away, my gut feeling would be Mysterious Planet.
I agree.
Yes.
I think it's an underrated story.
Yeah.
But it's not as good as the Mind Robber.
No. And only Patrick Troughton's only got 5 episodes left in the archive, so we can't afford to lose any more, Dave.
Yeah, we've burned most.
If The Mysterious Planet was a standalone story, would that be better regarded and better remembered?
Yes. And I think it was 3 episodes.
I think it is a bit dismissed as it's the opening part of Trial. It doesn't really get thought about as its own thing.
No. I think people just go, after the amazing effect at the beginning, it just it's the whole concept that saddles it. Yeah,
it's really beautifully filmed.
Yeah,
the casting's really good. It's got some really good people in there. It's not Tom Chadbourne's best performance.
No, it's not. But at least he's in it.
It's the best Sixth Doctor and Perry relationship that they get in their entire run.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Mysterious Planet is it's shot completely on video, but it's not punch in your face like the McCoy stuff is in terms of the lighting, because in those beautiful autumnal scenes it's actually it does look quite filmic even though it's on video. So yeah, there's some nice bits about it, but
I like The Mysterious Planet, but it's not the Mind Robber, which I love. I love the Mind Robber.
And if Mysterious Planet was maybe in black and white, so we have to see Colin's coat, maybe it might go through, but alas we can't. We've got the Mind Robber there, the only one of 5 complete Troughtons.
Yep.
Yeah, which really should have an endangered species tag put on these. That was the first Troughton I saw on the ABC run in late 85,
likewise.
86.
Well, that was the first Troughton I saw.
Yeah.
Yep, in that infamous 1986 repeat run.
The wonderful 86 run.
That was fantastic.
That was great. Thank you, David Hill.
How is everyone in Britain? we were just enjoying repeats of the Troughton era.
Yes, and then people were bitching about it in DWM. Oh, they're seeing the robot again. Yep, we are. Yeah, 5 episodes of Troughton, and again, it's that first episode.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic, given the
There's no budget.
There's no budget. It's basically another Edge of Destruction, but it's actually done pretty well.
There's no sets other than the white background and that sort of room with just a lump of tech put in front of him.
Yeah.
We'll call that the power room.
Exactly, and the sound effect. Yeah.
There's no guest cast other than the voice of Emrys Jones.
Yeah. Does it lose its appeal though when it goes into the land of fiction? Though, do you think?
Look, is episode 1 the strongest of the 5? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But are the other 4 bad? No.
No.
And again, we keep using the phrase "as a kid," but I was 6 when that went out on the ABC, and that was just fantastic. Minotaurs, unicorns, Medusa.
Yeah.
Like robots. Like, it was everything you want in a piece of children's television.
And Zoe's bottom spinning on the TARDIS console.
Well,
I was 6.
I was a little bit more older.
Yes, likewise.
Yes.
And look, I've met Evan Hercules, who was the set designer on that, and he was a really, really nice bloke. So,
did he move to Australia?
He did.
Oh, really? Okay.
He did. We interviewed him for Sonic.
Oh, there you go. You had to find all these interviews and scan them or something like that.
Yeah. We did. And he was a hell of a nice bloke.
Okay. There you go. Excellent. So, Mind Robber. Should we come back to that for the minute?
I think,
All John Peel novelisations. Now, Dave, you read The Chase for our 42 to Doomsday podcast. Plug. He's also did the 2
Master
Plans and Evil and Power.
And they're very good books.
They are.
And they were each big deals when they came out.
He also wrote that sequel to Dalek Invasion of Earth, didn't he?
He did write the War of the Daleks and...
Oh, yes, he wrote, yes.
We're all talking about all those novelisations, aren't we? So it's everything. It's not just the ones he did for the TV.
It's Legacy of the Daleks.
Legacy of the Daleks and War of the Daleks.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And his Missing Adventure Evolution, which is a little bit...
Plus he wrote that Terry Nation, and it's not really a novel, but he wrote that Terry Nation, what is it, Doctor Who and the Daleks book or whatever.
Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's not a novelisation.
No. Look, I don't like seeing my Target book collection being having gaps again, but to save the Mind Robber, but we haven't talked about the other one yet.
But again, are some of the books there doing the heavy lifting for the others? So
well,
are the Evil and Power novelisations doing the heavy lifting maybe for...
They're doing a lot of heavy lifting, but the Master Plan books are really good as well.
Yeah.
And even The Chase, which, as you say, we discussed on 42 to Doomsday, was a good book. It wasn't a classic, but it was a good book.
It was a good read, yeah? Yeah. All right, let's just come back to that one again in a minute. All Peter Greenwade stories. So we're talking about the ones he's written. Yep.
Written and directed.
Oh.
Do we need to get the program guide out?
Well, what he's written is easy.
Yeah.
Time Flight, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Mordred Undead, which is better.
Yeah. Planet of
Fire, which is excellent.
Yes, okay, yep. And then directed, Full Circle.
Logopolis.
Kinder. Earthshock. He should have done Resurrection, but we won't talk about that.
Oh, Matthew Robinson doesn't do a bad job with
No,
that.
but yeah. Oh,
Well, he should have done a lot more.
he should have done it to everybody here. They needed him.
I've said before, I rate Peter Grimwade as the number 2 director in the series.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Behind only Sir Douglas Camfield.
Yeah. No, Grimwade is excellent. And you wouldn't have Earthshock. You wouldn't have Earthshock.
Look, there are a number that are up there, but I genuinely think, and when you look through that list,
For sure.
what Peter Grimwade did as a director was just excellent, and he did it again and again and again.
More hits than misses in terms of his writing, because as you said, Time Flight is awful. However, Mordrin's good.
Mordrin's
Planet of
very
Fire is
cleverly
fantastic.
written. The problems with Mordrin are not the script;
No.
they're the production.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just they're directed flat again.
The music.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like that? Down, 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 down.
No.
I personally think now, based on all that, I thought it was just the stories. But when you say you actually talk about his directional output as well, I'm afraid you can't get rid of bloody Earthshock, for God's sakes. That's anything decent thing Eric Saber did.
Well, we praised the Fifth Doctor earlier, so...
Well, okay,
Yeah.
so...
I have my Joker. So if we're agreeing to put through the Peter Grimwade stories, which it sounds like we are.
So what's left for your Joker? The Mind Robber or John Peel? So we agree we're getting rid of Mysterious Planet.
Yeah, that's
look, I don't hate the Mysterious Planet, but it's not going to beat the Mind Robber.
No.
I'm going to play my Joker on the John Peel novelisations because of just what a big deal they were for me as a fan. Every time they came out, there were stories that are classics that we didn't think were going to be novelised, and suddenly Master Plan's being novelised, Power's being novelised, Evil's being novelised, and they were really good books, and they really sort of set the tone. I think that the Power of the Daleks novelisation really set up where the New and Missing Adventures were going to go, and that sort of concept that a larger format book that was written much more for fans was worthwhile. And look, I'm sorry to see the Mind Robber go, but it's my Joker. It's a personal choice. I'm putting through the John Peel stories.
How can I explain that to Mind Rob that we just deleted that? You just deleted like my Doctor Who. Let's hope the house has got them spare copies. Goodbye, Mind Robber. Telescopic and reconstruction. Here we go.
Last round.
Well,
Jokers are all gone.
Last four in the bowl.
No, the 3 Jokers are still around the table. But,
all right, we have, drum roll please, The Mind of Evil.
Oh
no.
It's just been colorised.
Oh no. The Planet of Evil.
Oh. Is this going to be all evil? Dr. Evil.
The 60s, 70s and 80s by House Davis and Walker.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Oh, you bastard. Season 21.
Oh, come on. We're leaving.
Once again, I could make a case for 3 of the 4 of those.
All right.
I'm
probably going to start by saying the 60s, 70s and 80s were amazing books when they came out.
Yeah.
I suspect there are now not better, but other reference materials that replace them.
And we were comparing those to what had happened, what came out before, i.e. the Haining books. And they were, I mean, as much as Great a Celebration is, these are really factual. And, they kept saying in the 60s, they kept calling it, was 100,000 BC?
Yep.
So, and there was some great information in those for the first time.
There were photos we'd never seen before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're now all on the internet.
That's
correct.
the thing.
Yeah.
I suspect fandom has, at the time, these were amazing books, but I suspect we've probably moved around to the next part of the cycle.
Sorry, David, if you're listening.
Okay, so we're left with The Mind of Evil, Planet of Evil, and Season 21.
So can I just say on Planet of Evil, I think that there are 2 fails in the Tom Baker era.
Yep.
And that's one of them.
Yes, I would probably say it's not one of my favourite Tom Baker's or Hinchcliffe stories.
It's remembered for the jungle and the monster.
Yep.
But the plot's
Yep.
nonsensical and dull.
Yeah.
The model work is just a giant vacuum cleaner on a black piece of canvas. You've got some rather interesting bits of acting, and like Prentice Hancock is not exactly being restrained there. Come on, Wyszynski, you're in charge. Give an order, save the ship.
He's just doing the same performance he did in bloody Planet of the Daleks, isn't he? Really? Yeah, he's a bit one note, isn't
and
he?
look, it's sandwiched between Zygons and Pyramids of Mars, so...
Yeah. Would you miss it if basically that run went from Zygons to Pyramids of Mars? No.
Well, when I watch that season, I do skip it. So.
Oh, okay, right. So Planet of Evil, I'm not a big fan of it. Look, it's there.
It's there.
They used to call it the Forgotten Hinchcliffe in the early 90s. There's probably a reason for that.
So,
goodbye.
All right, so we're left with The Mind of Evil in Season 21.
Yeah.
Now, Season 21... Well, no, I was going to say, so if we go through the stories, Warriors of the Deep...
Yeah.
Underrated. I think it's actually quite
It's actually
story.
a good script there.
Yeah.
Again, production day.
We then have The Awakening.
Which is
now,
pretty good.
We do know somebody who thought The Awakening was one of the best stories of the Davison era.
Yeah.
And thought it should be 4 parts.
Yes.
I think that's a weak link in the Davison stories of the season.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's entertaining, but I mean, I wouldn't think it'd be 4 parts.
I will say about The Awakening that one of my abiding, really early childhood memories when I was, a toddler watching on Dad's lap is the Malice.
Yeah.
Both the fate, like I can remember, and I must have been about 4 or 5 watching it at the time. I can remember the image of the Malice face coming out of the wall.
Yep.
And I remember the image of the Malice creature on the walls of the TARDIS. They are 2 really powerful memories.
And that sound effect actually of the mouse was like that. It was a bad impression, I apologise, but you know what I mean, that's actually pretty spooky.
So you've then got Frontios,
which is underrated and fantastic.
It's a really good story.
Very good story.
Yes.
Yeah, really good story.
We then move into
Resurrection of the Daleks.
Or basically the Lytton story.
Yes,
I think really.
Although it's a bit of a messy plot, there's a lot to recommend Resurrection.
There is.
It is a fast-paced, well-directed action story, which it is very 1980s.
Yes.
Gritty, grimy. It's almost like the Sweeney of Doctor Who, isn't it, really?
Well, I think we did say in one of the 42 to Doomsdays, I think if you look at a couple of scenes in that, you probably get Eric Saywood's world view, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I think. We then obviously go into Planet of Fire.
Planet of Fire, which Dave is a massive fan of.
Yes.
Yeah, massive fan. And of course,
Caves of Androzani.
The
best episode of Blake Seven in Doctor Who.
Absolutely. Followed by
The
Twin Dilemma. Okay. However, you've got pretty much a full season of, apart from those last 4 episodes, good Doctor Who there.
The Fifth Doctor's best work.
Fifth Doctor's best work.
Well,
solid,
we did say
consistent.
that. We said that earlier here, that it is his best season.
Mind of Evil is doing some great stuff.
Absolutely. Mark Strickson's great. That whole TARDIS crew actually of Strickson and Fielding is very, very good to me.
Yeah, it's one of the best in the season.
So it's a shame they bloody locked Turlo up. They still haven't got that whole 2-character thing happening yet in terms of giving them interesting things to do at the same time. But that season is a particular favourite of mine, actually.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Mind of Evil is great, however.
Compared to season 21.
But 6 episodes as opposed to all that wonderfulness in there.
Yes.
Really, we've got plenty of other Pertwees to keep us going.
I like the Mind of Evil, but I'm not quite sure what it is in there that I like. Is it just that it's a good action adventure?
It's the season 7 orphan, as I call it.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Like it would be. You wouldn't be out of place at the end of Inferno if they kept it going.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, where season 21 is probably is the peak of my Doctor Who watching back then. Love it. Yeah, it's really
I'm a big fan as well. I think that's 2 votes for.
So
is it unanimous, Richard?
Well, season 21 would have been my choice.
Very good. The Twin Dilemma really sort of sold it to him. So thank you, Richard.
Mark, do you want to give us our list of the things we've saved this week?
All right, we're going to go all Chris Boucher stories, season 4, all Douglas Adams stories, the Ambassadors of Death, Barry Letts, the 5th Doctor, last story of every Doctor, Romana, all Peter Grimwade stories, the ones he wrote and directed, all John Peel novelisations, including his classic MA and NA, and of course, season 21.
There you go. Now, to mix things up a bit for this episode, we're going to play a quick game I'm calling Favourites.
Ooh.
We're going to pass this round. And look, a lot of the answers here, regular listeners to the Doctor Who show will know from me, but we're going to hear more from you guys.
Okay.
We're going to pull a topic out, and you have to pick your absolute favourites. No equivocations.
Ooh.
No runners-up.
Right.
Ooh.
Just what are your dead set favourites in these categories?
Okay.
Richard, you can start us this time.
Ooh, all right.
Oh.
What do we got?
I'm a bit thrown off now.
Right, let's go with this one. Favourite writer and why? Wow. Well, we've just bigged up Chris Boucher, so...
Refer 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Us waxing lyrical about Chris Boucher. I will say, for the 3 stories he does, he has got an amazing strike rate.
He does.
Yeah. Pip and Jane Baker.
No, I was going to say there's a difference probably between favourite and objective best. I am actually going to go with Chris Boucher because I think those 3 stories, he only writes 3 stories for Doctor Who, but they are 3 amazing stories.
Yeah.
All 3 of them. You could probably argue, look, Fendale's maybe a fraction iffy.
I love
but,
Fendale.
And, look, you could probably make the Fendale versus Face of Evil, which one's better argument. But
Which I do regularly.
I actually think that's an amazing strike rate. Yeah, look, I'm going to go with Chris Boucher.
There you go.
Either you 2 guys want to jump in with one?
I'll say Malcolm Hulk. When you think of like, all the stories that he wrote, stuff like Silurians, Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
And his novels are good too.
Yep, many of my favourites. He knows how to write a good monster adventure with some meaning underneath.
Yeah, Robert Holmes.
Robert Holmes for you, Mark?
Yeah, Robert Holmes definitely for me. It's only a shame I can, Robert Holmes, his strike rate is very good. Yes, Space Pirates is a little bit draggy, as it were, but, Spearhead from Space, Terror of the Ordons. And the work he did on Tom Baker's first 3 years is peerless. So, yeah, I'm massive. Of course, Caves as well. Definitely favourite of mine.
Well, so that's a good thing. See, I can piss Chris Boucher because I knew you guys were going to come up.
Well, look, I think Boucher, Hulk and Holmes is a pretty good combination.
And no Pip and Jane Baker. Just double checking for you there. No.
Glenn McCoy.
Glenn McCoy. Okay. I'll open my one now. Favourite monster and why? Thank you very much for asking me that. I've always liked the Cybermen, particularly the Earthshock style Cybermen. They scared the bejesus out of me. I think, obviously, they can go upstairs, which is a big. To me, the Daleks are just very, very shouty.
Yep.
Without Davros, they're all very shouty. With the Cybermen, are very mobile, and just the stories they've been in, whether they've been in the sewers, as I said, Earthshock, that claustrophobic feeling. And I just remember, it sounds silly now, when I was 11 or 10, walking home in a dark sort of way home from school. I just kept thinking, the Cybermen are behind me because I got that image of the Earthshock Cybermen. So they've always done it for me. However, the new series has been a disgrace to them. So, but, and also the designs of the Cybermen are fantastic too. You think about the 10th planet where that you could just, they've still got their humanity shriveled under there. Yeah, and also, the moon base, Tomb of the Cybermen, some classic stories there. And I will call out, though, the Doctor Falls. And what was the story before that?
World Different Time.
Yeah, those 2 for a Cyberman story were really good as well. Just those scenes in the hospital, very, very chilling. So for me, I think the Cybermen...
So not closing time then?
Again, the Cybermen for me, mainly classic era, are my favourite monsters.
Richard, do you have a pick?
My inclination would have probably been the Cybermen as well. I think they always moved me a bit more as a kid. Given Mark's taken them.
Well, it's your favourite. You can have the same favourite.
Well, I can, but we want get something slightly different here as well.
Mistor.
Careful, he might be listening.
Oh, yeah.
Well done. If I can have Sutek as a monster, I'd be inclined to jump with Sutek.
That
Go
voice.
for it.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll have Sutek because I think Sutek, the portrayal, the costuming,
The
whole
voice.
setup, the voice
is
just incredible.
Yeah, and the hand on the cushion.
Yes.
Wonderful. No, it's very chilling, isn't it? Very chilling.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic, yeah.
Look, I know you're not the Mark, but I'm going to pick the Daleks. I know it's the obvious one, but particularly those 60s Dalek stories, they're just so evil, so manipulative, so powerful. Then you've also got stuff like Remembrance, which is really good.
Yeah.
I think some of the best stories in the new series are Dalek stories, at least those early RTD ones.
Yep.
So for all the obvious reasons, I'll go the Daleks.
Very good, very good. And Dave?
Next out of the bowl, 3 so we've got 5.
Okay,
So
cool.
Third out of the 5, we have favourite director and why.
Well, which one are you going to leap in for Douglas Camfield?
Are we all going to just wax about Douglas Camfield? Is anybody going to put anything else up?
Definitely. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, given I know you're probably going to jump for Douglas Camfield, and I mentioned her a few minutes ago, I'll go with Paddy Russell, just to be a point of difference.
Oh, fair enough. Mate.
Okay. For me, Dougie Camfield, obviously. Harper's classic work was pretty good. Pretty good. Peter Greenway, we mentioned before, obviously, as well. Very consistent with his directing. Really exciting, and it's a shame they didn't use him ever again. And also, I think from a new series perspective, I always liked Nick Curran's work. I've always found his work. He directed the 50th anniversary. I found his directing style really good as well.
Yeah, look, Rachel Talalay gets a lot of credit for the new series, and I think that's very well deserved.
Yeah.
I talked earlier about why I think Peter Grimwade's really, really good, but I can't go beyond Douglas Camfield either. Just classic after classic after classic.
Yeah.
What he did with the tone and the style of the show was just clever, innovative, and really good. But Richard, you picked Paddy Russell. Why?
Probably because of the stories. If we go backwards, there's Horror Fang Rock.
Yeah.
Which I think is just an out-and-out classic, and her direction adds a lot to that. The Pyramids of Mars. I got Sutek a minute ago, and let's face it, and she was one of the directors who could keep a chain on Tom Baker.
One of the few directors.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know he used to salute her and stuff, but she was one of the few who could keep a lid on him.
Yeah.
Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
Yes.
Now, yes, okay, it's got plasticine dinosaurs in it that she had to work with, but I actually think Invasion of the Dinosaurs is actually quite a good story.
Absolutely.
And The Massacre, which, from the audio and reading everything else about it, seems to be an amazing story. So, yeah.
That's a very good pick, actually, and she's very innovative, in the BBC as well, like in terms of coming through in the 50s. One of the very few female directors in the organisation. They said, worked on The Massacre, and just kept going. So, that's a good choice, mate. Well done.
Two more favourites to go. Richard, it's your turn.
Okay. We have favourite Doctor and why.
Okay, we might as well... Look, I'll just sit back now. Yeah. It's Tom Baker.
Well, look, I am going to go the obvious choice. I'm going to go for Tom, because Tom was the Doctor I saw. He was the Doctor I grew up with. He was there long enough that pretty much my whole childhood just about was Tom up until I became a teenager.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, look, Tom is the Doctor. So, all the others are imposters. I have no doubt. Look, I have no doubt, had I been born 5 or 6 years earlier, I'd probably be waxing as lyrical about Pertwee, I think, because, you tend to find, for a lot of fans, it is the one you saw first, but for me, that's most definitely, it's Tom.
Yeah, okay.
Mark?
Look, for me, like Richard said, I remember watching a bit of Tom Baker when I first started watching the program, but for me, the Davison Doctor and his portrayal solidified me being a fan. So from a classic perspective, I he's my favourite, as it were. However, I do love all the old classic Doctors. However, from a new series perspective, I do think Capaldi was my favourite new series Doctor as well. I know that first year's a bit shaky, and I know Into the Daleks, some people called him a bit of a
prick.
Yes, I was trying to find another word. I've just seen some clips of him as a Doctor recently on YouTube, and just comparing it to what we've sort of seen recently. Yeah, he's just...
So I'd probably go Eccleston, I think, if I was...
He was good too, actually, yeah.
And look, I am fond, probably, of most of the Doctors. Hartnell would be another one that would be high on my list. But
and he's obviously my favourite.
Yes, and I was about to say, I suspect that's where we're going. So.
No, look, I mean, listeners to the podcast know that Hartnell's my favourite. We've done whole episodes on why Hartnell's my favourite. Yeah. But I will just, again, mention as well, I did grow up with Pertwee, not because I'm older than you, Richard, but because I'm a bit younger, and I was just there for all those repeats. All those Pertwee repeats in the 80s, and I still think he's a great Doctor. I love Capaldi, but Eccleston will be my pick of the new series as well.
Sure, yeah. John Pertwee. Fantastic, isn't he?
Last
one. Favourite season and why? Oh, Dave. Ooh. Okay. Well, I think we've actually already mentioned this, actually.
Season 21.
Season 21 for me, it's hard there, because then we'll go season 7, you got season 14. Oh.
Well, it's season 7 for me, and I just think that is 4 absolute classic stories. Absolute belters.
Yep.
Spearhead, Silurians, Ambassadors, Inferno. I could watch them all and then watch them all once again. I think that it's Doctor Who at its grittiest, Doctor Who is its most innovative, and I think that they really take what could be a limited format and do some really interesting things with it in that season. You've got the parallel universe, you've got the They Were Here Before Us concept. I think that the spearhead stuff is just really clever. And, it looks obvious now, but it was just new and fresh for its time. Wonderful Doctor, wonderful companion. It's the best season for the Brigadier. I just think it's a fantastic season. I think it's just... There is not a dud episode in there.
And I like to see the 7-episode format. Some people go it drags a little bit, but I really like it in terms of the story just draws a lot. It just goes...
It's got time to develop.
It's got time to develop, and you really invested in it.
It forces the writer to find extra things to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, look, Season 7 definitely is a favourite. I can't say Season 12, for example, because it used to get repeated all the bloody time over here, so you got sick to death of it. But Season 14, this is hard, man. This is hard. Well, look, I'm going to go Season 21, and I know that the end is rubbish, but I'm going to go from Season 21 mainly from a pure nostalgia point of view. I know there are better seasons of it. From a nostalgia point of view, though, I do like Season 21.
And there you go. So you've made it easy for me, because if I go Season 14, we all get a Guernsey now. So
exactly right.
Every child wins a prize.
Yeah, so Richard's on Season 24, I think. which they just had a massive sale on JB. It was down to $40. They're still trying to shift it.
Interestingly enough, Trial of the Time Lord was on around the time I was in Year 12.
Yeah.
And because we then had drifted so far behind the UK, by the time Season 24 was on, it aired. I'd left school and been out at full-time work for nearly 12 months. And I do remember coming home to be consistently disappointed by those episodes.
You can relive those episodes for $40 at JB Hi-Fi. So
I did buy it when it came out, and I paid full price for it. So,
I know.
Season 14 though, Richard?
For me, it always probably would have been a Hinchcliffe season.
Yeah.
And I know that Pyramids of Mars is in Season 13. But I have always had a really soft spot for the Mask of Mandragora. I'm not a huge fan of the Hand of Fear.
No, it's the weak link of the season.
But it is the weak link of the season. I don't know that I'd have got much out of The Deadly Assassin if it had been shown here when I was a kid. I didn't see it until I was an older teenager.
Yeah.
And from then on, I've really enjoyed it. I really like Face of Evil. I absolutely bloody love Robots of Death.
Yes.
And I'm also very, very fond of the Talons of Weng Chiang. That's right, fandom. I really like it. Come and get me.
And I have to get through me first to get to him, because I like it as well.
Yeah, I think it is probably the Hinchcliffe seasons really build, I think, across their run, and I think, it really hits probably, it hits its high point across Season 14.
Spot on. Yeah, it's good. Very, very good.
Well, thank you for playing Favourites.
Thank you.